I'm here with Rory Felton of Hit Piece. Excited for another live stream. We're gonna get right into it today. I'm sure you guys might have been seeing some of the ads or at least some of the posts about Hit Piece that's going on right now. I want to get into it, figure out what's going on there. Want to hear about this Rick Ross drop, all these different things that are going on. First and foremost, though, Rory, how you feeling today?
I'm feeling great, man. Happy Monday. Had a beautiful weekend. Clearly, we've been putting in some long hours around this drop that just happened, and I feel great, man. It's a beautiful day. I feel blessed to be able to get up and work with music and new technology every day. I just love the space.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and that leads me straight into it. I want to know kind of. Let's get a little bit of backstory on this. I kind of want to know when you got started in Web three, particular, whether it was crypto or NFTs, or how you were introduced into it, and then what birthed the idea of HitPiece.
Yeah. So I first bought Bitcoin in 2014. It subsequently pretty quickly dropped down 50%, and I thought I was pretty stupid at the time. uh, Fortunately, it's worked out pretty well. I bought Ethereum soon after that, and have always been really interested and fascinated in decentralized technology, giving individuals more power over central banks or central governments, if you will. And that's what I think initially appealed to me about the concept of a global transaction system. Fast forward to, and prior to that, just for reference, my background's in the music industry. I built and sold a record label to Sony Music. And for the last decade, I've been mainly on like frontier tech solutions for music. So I've helped a lot of top 40 artists sell music and merchandise and stream on social media. And I've always loved new tech that help independent artists grow communities, grow audiences outside of antiquated business models with major record companies sometimes. And I co-wrote a white paper in 2018 on digital collectibles for music. It was more of a token model versus a NFT model. At the time, I think the only NFT project that people knew about was CryptoKitties, and I thought it was interesting and fascinating and fun. I didn't see the NFT application to music at that time, and fast forward several months after that, we started to see NFTs take off as an application for just collecting digital art, as a way to own art, as a way to support artists that we love. And it came pretty apparent to me very quickly, like oh, the NFT standard versus any other standards on Ethereum or any other blockchain seemed to create a lot of solutions for artists that I thought were really interesting. So not only did I start to collect NFTs to experience that maybe 2.5 years ago, my co-founder, Jeff Birmingham, and I came together to found HitPiece back in early 2021. Is it 2021? Yeah, it was early 2021. And we started the ideation process of like, what does NFTs look like for music? What does it look like to create a website that is, if you will, the Spotify for music artists, right? Or in Web3. And so that's what sort of spawned on the process. And so we started building out technology since then.
Awesome. Yeah, and I've been digging into the website. I want to encourage anybody that if you want to know more about HitPiece, go to hitpiece.com, HITPIECE.com. Check it out. There's lots of interesting things going on there where you can see drops, you can see the about us. It looks like you even have some ways for people to get onboarded pretty easily into the Web3 space, which obviously is an important tool. Um, I find it interesting too. As I was going through HitPiece, it looks like that you guys have obviously there's a large music centric focus, but you also don't appear to want to be pegged to just music. And so, if you can, what I'd like for you to describe is like the importance to you guys about it being, I guess, more of a kind of a cultural experience, not just music, and why that's important to like Web3 and everything we got going on here.
Yeah. So the mission behind HitPiece is to make it super easy for music artists to onboard into Web3 and make it super easy for them to launch collections around their creative assets and digital content. So we are only for music-centric culture. So there is music artists on our platform, but we do also have music festivals on our platform as well, launching proof of attendance NFTs and VIP NFTs as well for some people are doing VIP for life type NFTs. And so it is all music centric. However, we do see music artists launching collections around just their music. That could be a series or it could be one-of-ones. We also see artists launching collections of their artwork. So that could be unique and original artwork that give fans the ability to just display it in their wallet or display it in their metaverse space. But they're always tied to, and what we always encourage artists to do is really tied to real life utility or real life value. And so the artwork of the NFT or the music on the NFT really is just one component of the value of collecting these. The second value is the ability to unlock something in the digital or real world that deepens the relationship between an artist and a collector, as well as making it easier for fans to become collectors of music artists. So we have artists launching, artists like Sprite launched a collection where even though his NFT is a music NFT and has a song on it, it's really owning that NFT is a key to unlock his entire project. And so he recorded an entire project only for his Web3 audience. And so the only way you can listen to that project is if you buy his token, his NFT. And then we have some artists that are producer artists like Pyrex Whippa, Anonymous, who have launched collections that allow the collectors to get a chance to work with them in the studio. So, or allow them to unlock a beat kit that they can actually make music with. So we think these sort of applications are really exciting and really fun, and again, deepen relationships between artists and collectors.
Yeah, I actually find that really interesting. I love the idea of that it doesn't have to be just music. So I myself, I've collected a lot of music, but I think that there's so much more, and obviously these days, like there's an entire brand that goes around it, whether it's socials, whether it's artwork, whether it's production, all sorts of things. So it makes a lot of sense. To the next part, which is the man of the hour, if you will. So obviously the Rick Ross collection is launched. Anybody that's interested, you can go check that out right now. I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, the floor price right now is 0.15 ETH to scoop up an avatar. But I found that really interesting that it's his, at least initially from Hit Piece, is not music. It is the avatar, which unlocks like this like larger metaverse and all these IRL experiences and all this. Why? I guess it's probably lots of things that you guys have planned out, I'm sure. But why to initially launch with the avatars and then potentially music down the road?
Yeah, so a lot of major artists are in exclusive recording contracts that make their music rights just more complicated to deal with. And for, I think, a lot of established artists, the value of NFTs can be more about VIP experiences, which could unlock music in the future, but really can unlock deeper in-person and virtual experiences with the artist himself. When we started to speak with Rick and his team about onboarding into Web3 and creating a collection, he really wanted to make it like, oh my gosh, what if we created a collection that unlocked experiences with me that you just cannot get any other way? And so this idea of creating a meet and greet for some of his collectors actually at his property, the Promised Land, which is in Atlanta Bayou, we thought was an incredible experience. He has opened up his property before for his car show, which is just a really cool experience as well. And ideas around exclusive merchandise for his collectors, virtual meet and greets as well for more people, where he can do a bigger group meetup as opposed to just a few people at his house, and even personal items from his collection that super fans would love. It was really built around what would super fans of Rick Ross want if they were to collect an NFT. So that's what we created around his collection with him, and we think it's incredible. We didn't go about it in sort of a super hyped way like maybe some of these PFP collections. We really just focused on people that love Rick Ross. If you love Rick Ross, then this NFT opens you up into a whole group of experiences that you can't get any other way. And we think it's a blueprint for established artists to do this in the right way in Web3. Clearly, there's a history of some celebrity artists coming into this space and launching collections that either didn't fulfill the utility or the promises, or were just perceived in a strange way. And we wanted to combat that by launching a very limited collection. There's only 200. I think about 25% have sold so far. So I think the rest will go pretty quickly. And but we didn't want to do a 10,000 piece collection for him, at least not just yet. And he also priced in a way that, 0.15 ETH is clearly, it's a $250 transaction. It's not just a dollar, but we think that the value that he's offering out the gate is worth more than the NFT itself. I will say that the investment in the creative in these 3D experiences that each NFT is, so when you go to HitPiece to view the NFTs and you click full screen, it takes a few seconds to load because the files are so large, but you can actually with your mouse move around in the experience and see it from all different angles. And in every NFT experience is all little Easter eggs tied to Rick Ross's bigger brand that you can experience. Some are in Miami, some are in Atlanta, some are on stage, some are sort of an ode to his farm, which he has a farm component to his property down in Georgia. So we think that alone, the art alone is really valuable and really fun for his super fans.
And so I guess that's first of all, that's cool to hear that it's being thought of again more experientially. I for one think that that's how people start to, people that are already present in the Web3 ecosystem, if you will, start to kind of connect with this more is when they see different things that people can do, whether it's with this artist, that artist, this musician, whoever it is. So I think that that's thoughtful, and I like that you guys are going for the experiential side of things. I'm curious, and it's kind of a two-part question for this next thing. So you have 200 Rick Ross fans, and I guess at that point, very dedicated Rick Ross fans, and really kind of anybody that spends $250 on something probably could be considered a big fan of something. Is there a way, whether it's a Discord or a Telegram or anything that aggregates some of these people so they can now be a part of this larger community and then kind of bring that up? That's the first one. And then the second one is, what are the plans with the metaverse to make it maybe an integrated type thing so people can interact in that environment as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So the way we've gone about this is after the community is fully built, we really want to ask them how they want to communicate. I'm a part of communities where there's a Telegram, there's a Discord, there's Twitter threads. And to be honest, I get scatterbrained because there's just so many places to interact with content. So we really want to make sure that we're asking them how they want to interact and communicate with each other. We can easily spin up a token gated channel in the HitPiece Discord. And most likely that will be the place that the community can congregate. Right now, it's been really just through DMs on Twitter. Everyone's DMing us, we're DMing them. We're teasing them what's coming forward. They're already asking great questions. And, like anything, we just want to be really transparent with what's happening, what's coming up, and the timeline on things. To your second part of the question on the metaverse space, yeah, so we've started the preliminary process of building out actually his property, which is the promised land in the metaverse. So you'll be able to sort of go in there and interact with his brand and his experiences in new and exciting ways. But we also want to posit that to the community. They might say, hey, look, it's going to be much easier for us if we can just put it on Spatial, right? Versus building it where you just access it through hitpiece.com. So we can do both. It's really going to be up to, what the community really wants and how are they feeling like they're going to get the most value out of that. And then within that experience, by owning Rick Ross's tokens, you'll be able to unlock different things that you wouldn't otherwise be able to do unless you actually only own his tokens. Rick has a lot of partnerships with everyone from Bel Air Champagne to Rap Snacks to Wingstop, and we're excited to look at integrating those sort of brands into this space as well.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, and that was actually going to be kind of an add-on to that. Is do you guys find it, I guess, easier to go in and build your own metaverse? Because obviously that's a huge job as opposed to partnering with, you said Spatial, or there's a Mona or Sandbox or whoever it may be, Decentraland. Yeah. I mean, I guess it kind of depends, right? But I guess I would like you to approach this from a business perspective on this question is what makes the most sense for you guys? Is it to have the creative control of the entire metaverse, or does it make more sense to integrate?
Yeah, we're not looking to build a metaverse universe on the size of a Sandbox or something like that. That's where Spatial is more of a makes the most sense, because you can build a space, right? That's virtual, that is immersive, that is completely branded to the artist. but you don't have to think about creating a huge world or selling land in that world, right? So that's what we thought. That's how we've thought about it, right? On hitpiece.com, separate from Rick Ross's metaverse space, we've built out our own metaverse space that's launching soon called The Lounge. And in The Lounge, it's basically a space built for music fans. So if you're collecting music NFTs already, you log in with your wallet, similar to Spatial or on Cyber, and all your music NFTs will get populated on a shelf, like a record shelf. And you'll be able to actually go to the shelf and pull the record off the shelf and put it on the player to start playing your music. So it's sort of this analog meets metaverse experience in one, which we think is really fun and exciting. And we've looked at this lounge as actually a potentially like sort of the room that accesses other spaces that we can build for other music artists, right? So in addition to Rick Ross, we have collections already announced and coming from Fetty Wap, from ATL Jacob, who just won his first Grammy for Best Melodic Rap Song with Future and Drake, and Thames. And for these folks, I think all these folks should have their own sort of virtual footprint, right? We just want to make sure that it's actually a cool experience, right? As we know, in a lot of these metaverse spaces like the Sandbox and Decentraland, it can feel a little empty. It can feel a little awkward unless there's like an event happening, right? So that's where we want to make sure that it's purposeful and it's something fans really want, and that we're also asking the community to have a say in how they want to experience this.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I think finding that line too between like a live stream performance, tying that into the metaverse, obviously there's going to be IRL experiences, but then, say someone's performing on the other side of the world, I can't get to it, but I'm a big fan. I hold the NFT. There's a lot of room there for people to still be able to experience, the people that they really love to watch and listen to. Speaking of, and you had mentioned this a little bit earlier, you had said something about IRL events. What, if anything, do you guys have planned this year for IRL events? Are you doing anything as far as like the whole conference circuit is concerned? Like, what's that looking like?
Yeah, so we love hosting Web3 music meetups. We've hosted a couple in Atlanta actually, and we've hosted a few other markets. We did one in Miami a few weeks ago as well, and those are the best. Like, this world is very clearly exists a lot digitally, and everyone interacts digitally, but there's nothing better than connecting with people in person and having those real life meetups. We will be at ETH Denver later this week. We are sponsoring the Ultraviolet Rave, I believe it's called.
Shout out to Jade.
Yeah, shout out to Jade, and that guy's he's a real one. So we love supporting his efforts and what he's doing, and we're happy to be a part of that event. And I think that's just a great experience for getting all these folks that, we all kind of interact now weekly digitally, right? So it's great to all meet up in person and connect there. And then we were asked by South by Southwest to host the official Web3 music meetup at South by Southwest. So we'll be down there. That event is for like pass holders to South by. So we're also looking to do something as well for just everyone that goes to South by. If you've been there in the past, most people will just go to hang out and go to the parties. But clearly we want to be available to both. And we love that. We love connecting with people in person. We encourage all artists to attend these types of events and meet these people in person. It's the best way to meet new collectors. And just for reference, everyone knows, like, any artist can go to hitpiece.com right now and register to mint their creative works on the blockchain. There isn't gatekeeping at all to that experience, other than just verifying that you are the artist that you say you are. Beyond that, you have free range to put as many NFTs as you want up for sale and mint as many collections as you want with no cost to you as an artist. And we really believe that's the right solution. Like, artists should have, there shouldn't be, curation is important, but there shouldn't be gatekeeping for artists and being able to use software and tools that make their lives easier. And at these events, it's really great to meet with both artists and collectors and builders that all make these spaces worthwhile.
Yeah, heavy agree with you there. I've gone to several events. I saw you guys had sponsored Jaden down in Miami. I was at that event. Jaden's been.
I was there too, man.
We must have ran right by each other.
Yeah, it was late. That was a late event, man. 11 p.m.
Yeah, well, and it's funny because I think that there's largely the demographic is like relatively young. So I always tell everybody I'm the old man at these events. So
Yeah, I got you beat, man. Got you beat, bro.
But no, it's really nice, and for any artist that's curious, or even any collectors, or just people wanting to participate, uh, you interact with all these people, whether it's on Discord or Twitter or Telegram, whatever it is, all day long, and then you meet up with everybody, and it's like an immediate camaraderie. So, strong recommend if you can make it to an event, if there's one close to you, make it
Absolutely.
out there. I'm excited for South by. I won't be at Denver. I'll be at South by, so I think that'll be a good one too. Um, there's a lot of things that you had mentioned in there. I think one of the ones about you guys covering minting for artists, I think that's a big one. As we know, like gas transactions can be, when gas spikes, can be a little prohibitive when people look at this. So I think that that's making taking friction out of the process, especially for the creators, makes it more likely that they'll get involved. Now, obviously, there's lots of other things that they need to be aware of as they get into this side of things, but having you guys there being a support and helping them out, I think will be very, very helpful. And I think as people see people like Rick Ross and Fetty Wap, and then any number of the other people that you guys have brought onto the platform, I think that that lends a certain amount of like, okay, let me check this out. Let me see what's going on. Um, we're to the part now where I always got to ask this. Um, what kind of alpha? You got any alpha for anyone watching, listening? Can we drop any dimes on anything here?
Oh, let's see. So, well, what alpha? I mean, we've announced a good bit of alpha last week. I will say for Rick Ross, we're looking to make an announcement this week on the first utility that's going to come with this collection, and I'm pretty excited for that. I think that will turn some heads,
Mm.
and we're looking to follow that up with like 2 or 3 other utility announcements pretty quickly. So there's that. Are there any collections coming that we haven't teased yet? That could be interesting. I will say, like ATL Jacob, the way his team and he wants to approach his collection is more of an A&R style collection, right? Like an A&R token. Like, hey, he just signed to Republic Records. His debut album is going to come out this year. He's starting to roll out singles. Prior to this date, he's really been known as a producer. And he spent 6 months at Billboard #1 on the rap producer charts. Like he's clearly accomplished as a producer. And so as he onboards into being an artist, we wanted to make sure that we're giving people the experience to sort of participate in that creative process. And I think that's really cool and something I haven't seen from a major label artist yet, if you will. So there's that. As far as like new features coming to Hit Piece, we rolled out US dollar transactions. We rolled out series NFTs. I'd say the next one there's the lounge, which I previously talked about. That's the next one that's coming that we're really excited about. And then after that, we're actually exploring the idea of a feature called a pre-order feature.
Mm.
This may not be the alpha you're exactly looking for, but in the music industry, we're used to running pre-orders for 6 weeks prior to an album drop, or even months before an album drop. And I want to sort of, if we bring this application to Web3, I haven't really seen it yet. And I feel like it will further bring more people into Web3 that may not be in this space already. Web3 NFT drops seem to be, you hype up a date, a mint date, right? And you try to get everyone to buy on that day. And we've really tried to not put that pressure on artists and not put that pressure on collections to feel like they have to all lead up to just one day. And I think what will help with that is a pre-order function that can allow someone to, with ETH or US dollar, pre-order an NFT that gets airdropped to them on a later date. And we're excited for that. I think that's going to be really cool. Beyond that, I think that's the offer I got right now, man.
That's cool. That's cool. No, you said a lot. Yeah, you said a lot there. I like that you guys are doing the pre-orders. I do like the fiat on ramps too. So I say often to other people, I think the emphasis needs to be less on like the digital thing and like, or the NFT side of things, and the fact that like we're still delivering a good product. So making it accessible to people across other avenues is important. Um, the A&R token is sounds super interesting to me. So if somebody, and obviously like, and I'm sure these details are still being worked out, It's the idea that somebody gets the A&R token and then he kind of provides that kind of service for somebody, for an artist.
Yeah, the idea is you can invite the community into helping out with the sequencing of a record, right?
Okay.
Or even like, jump in on like a token gated video session while the artist is in the studio, right?
Yeah.
Being able to actually maybe get early access to the music in some sort of experience that allows you to provide feedback, right? Allows the community to vote on certain aspects around an album. Things like that we think are really cool and exciting, and sort of empower the collectors to even further beyond just being collectors. Like, oh, cool, you get to be truly a part of this team. Potentially the artist's success could really rely on how engaged that community is, or the community could really benefit from coming together as a team to support an artist, right? I was in a space the other day, and a friend of mine, Tom LaRock, said, the collectors are the label, right? I was like, oh, that's kind of a cool, I mean, it's a cool concept, right? And while collectors clearly provide value and resources to the artist in supporting them through collecting tokens, NFTs, they can also become an extension of your marketing team or your street team or power team, and empowering them to leverage all of them at one time to support a drop, I think is really exciting. Even just a drop in like Web 2, like on commercial DSPs. And we're excited to see how that sort of plays out. Again, in general, like, we're all pioneers right now in this space. So we're all trying to find the blueprints that work for both established artists and developing artists with this new technology. We all believe in the value of decentralization, of artist sovereignty, of owning digital assets. Like, I love the fact that I get to keep all my digital assets in a ledger and cold storage, and they're mine. I get to own them. I can sell them whenever I want. These are all the reasons why we love this space and we think it's really powerful. But we're always trying to find ways to provide more value, communicate the value to folks that haven't onboarded into Web3 yet in a way that is exciting to them. And that's why we thought an A&R token could be one of those concepts.
Yeah, I agree, and it sounds very interesting to me. Couple things here, then I'll get you out of here. I don't want to hold you too long. What was your first NFT?
First NFT I bought?
Yes, sir.
Weezer. Yeah, it was on Wax.
Yeah.
So they did a drop 2.5 years ago, maybe 3 years ago now. And they did it on Wax. By the way, Wax is an early chain. I don't know anyone that's really working on it right now, but it was really a seamless experience to use their wallet and their place. And I bought the number one. It was the first edition in a series, and I still have it to this day. It was around their last record release, but that was the first one I bought. It was on Wax. Yeah,
that's cool. That's cool. And then when I'm talking to music folks, one of the questions. So I did all of last year. Weekly, we did a music segment on a Web3 music artist called Music Mondays. And what I would like to speak to different music people about is, from my experience, everybody has either an album or a song that when they were a child that they can relate to, that a parent or a brother or a cousin or somebody played all the time. They still know front to back, even if you haven't heard it for 20 years. Curious what that might be for you.
Oh man, it's a lot. I got the music bug when I was 12 or 13 when I bought my first guitar, and I got sucked into the punk rock subculture. So all the punk records is what I grew up listening to and I loved. If I think about those records back then, oh man, there's a lot. Minor Threat, Operation Ivy, later Sunny Day Real Estate, the Get Up Kids. I grew up in Kansas City. That's where I went to high school. So all those Kansas City artists, Coalesce, all of those were ones that I could still do hard, like from start to end. Jimmy Eat World, MXPX, man, all those records I was just in love with, Yeah.
Nice. I love that. One random question here. Being a Kansas City fan, you got to be like a Tech Nine guy, right?
Yeah, man. What's funny is like Tech Nine plays he played the Chiefs celebration for winning the Super Bowl. He's just hardcore Kansas City. It's really cool to see him just like raise that flag and stick to it for so long. Yeah. And he's independent too. He's just like, he's been running it, doing his own show, entirely separate from sort of like the major label system. So I think he's an inspiration for so many people.
Yeah. Agreed for sure. Well, Roy, I really, really, really appreciate your time. I want to leave this with the floor to you. I think socials everywhere for you guys is Join Hit Piece, but anything you want to leave us with or any dates to look out for, it's yours.
Yeah, we're just thanks for taking the time. For anyone who hasn't started collecting music NFTs, like we feel like we've got a really easy solution at hitpiece.com. You can buy with a credit card. You do need a private wallet. So if you need a digital wallet, as always, do your own research, but you can check out MetaMask or similar style products as well that can provide you with your own self-custodial experience. And yeah, we're just so excited to continue to bring this innovation to the music industry. And for any music artists out there, we'd love to be your home for where you mint and onboard into Web3. And we're here to answer any questions. You can reach us anytime through DMs or emails or through our website as well. And I'll just reiterate, the Rick Ross collection is now live, and you can go to hitpiece.com and check out all these beautiful 3D experiences that he's offering to his fans.
All right, guys, you heard it. Check it out. Go to hitpiece.com. Check it out. Follow him on Join Hit Piece, and make sure you hit him up if you got any questions. Let him know on the feedback, and keep your eyes peeled. There's lots of things going on. Rory, thanks again. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
Thanks so much.